All right, good evening. This is Uncle Yab, and today we going straight video style here. Yes. How you doing, Rich?
Very good, man. How's it going?
Good, good. So today we talking about the George Floyd case. It started, I want to say Monday they started it, and today I heard that they were trying to get all the
the jury
and stuff like that. Yeah. So that's supposed to be together today. They talked about one lady that had some maybe she was I don't know, some kin to a police officer in a rural area, so they may rule her out.
Okay.
So as far as that's concerned, what else have you heard?
Well, no, I heard that there was like an issue at first about the jury, so they had to because they wanted to give what seems like what they wanted to do was say that they wanted to include third-degree murder as well. It started with second-degree,
right?
But they wanted to include third-degree murder. So I guess they went back to like the Supreme Court in the state, to see if that could be included. So that way, they're just trying to ensure that this dude doesn't get out.
Exactly.
And so it delayed it. So I think they actually started the jury selection today.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know. Yeah. It's going to be interesting, man, to see what kind of jury.
You're right, it is, and not only that, because if they got to convict this guy, man. Yeah, I mean, I know that everybody deserves a trial and stuff like that, but I don't understand what would be the reason why he's not found guilty. Yeah. Now things have happened, and you know that. Yeah. But as far as what's going on, come on, man. Come on.
I mean, you know, everybody talks about that. What is it? 8 minutes and
30-something seconds.
Yeah,
it's rough.
And you know, that's kind of seared in our minds, man, because you know we see those images, man, and we see that guy.
Yeah.
And you saying, you know, this is an open and shut case.
Yep.
But people have been talking, and I've been listening to different talk radio, and
right.
You know, they had one sheriff on, and he was saying how. That Floyd had fentanyl in his system, and if the guy Chauvin, the cop, if he wasn't on his neck, he would have died from something else. But I don't believe that, man.
No, that has nothing to do with it. What he had or what he took, or even if he was intoxicated, that has nothing to do with Chauvin killing this man. Right. Yeah. And to me, and what I saw on TV, that's what happened. Yeah. And he wasn't a threat. He wasn't doing anything. So why did he even do that for that long period of time? Even the people that was looking, innocent bystanders, would say, "Hey, man, you killing him. You killing him." And the man was calling for his mother. Yeah. When you do that, man, you know you gave up. Yeah. You surrendered everything, and he still kept his knee on his neck. Yeah. You know, and he going to court for that. Yeah. Of course, he pleaded not guilty, but that's fine. Yeah. Because he got to be proven innocent, you know. Yeah. And he having his time in court now. Yeah. But the sad part about it is George Floyd is not here. Yeah. To even say his side of it. Right. You know, and you know how they say the dead can't speak, but you know, hopefully all those recordings and everybody been marching for him. Hopefully that speaks for him, man. Yeah. You know, it really does, man.
It's a real difficult thing, man. I mean, I just. Like you said, I just want justice to be served, man.
Right.
And, you know, it's hard to see how it could go any other way, but, you know, we've seen this in the past.
That's true. That's true.
But, you know, what about those other cops that were there? You know, what were they thinking? Did they not care, or did they?
I think a lot of times with cops, man, and like I said before, being a police officer is like being in a fraternity. Right. And I you know what a fraternity is like. Through thick and thin, you guys are brothers. Right. But it comes a time where right is right and wrong is wrong. Absolutely. You got to say, hey man, you know, why don't you lay up? You know, I think everything's good now. Right. You know, hopefully he wouldn't just sit there and let his brother or his fellow police officer kill somebody. But yet they did. They did. We all witnessed that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then for them to say that was justified. I can't say that, man. I can't say it. Even if I was the wrongest person, or the person that you know, a negative type guy, right? I can't justify that. Yeah. You know, the guy didn't have a gun.
Yeah.
He was pretty much detained.
Right.
You know, and to sit there and do what he did, it's ridiculous.
It really is, man. You know, and he, you know, I guess initially when he was when they pulled up to the car and hit, you know, flashlight on the window, it took him a while to get himself together.
Right.
But he opened the door and was like, okay.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And you know, I guess they just, you know, it's a control thing, man. It's really, it's part of America, man. Sadly,
It is.
man.
It is.
But what it did do was for a lot of people, especially a lot of white people, they said they saw that and they couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
They couldn't believe that happened to someone, you know?
Because they don't understand what we go through out
Right,
here.
right.
Their lives are different from ours.
Right.
So but if they don't understand that, they have to actually see it.
Right.
And then they can start thinking about this. Wow, is that happening? Yeah, it's happening. It may not be happening to you, but it's happening to us.
Right.
That's why it's in the back of their head. They don't think twice about nothing like that.
Right.
It don't happen to them. But when it's happening to somebody else, that's still wrong.
Right.
Regardless if it ain't happening to you or not, if it's happening to somebody else, that's still wrong.
It's still wrong.
So you shouldn't turn your head to something that's wrong, regardless if it's happening to somebody green, black, red, brown, whatever ethnicity, you know, religious belief, or anything like that. You got to look at that and say, nah, something got to stop.
Right. Because see, what they probably, a lot of them, and I'm just being general, but a lot of them say, okay, well, you know, the police are here to do good things, and in their communities, you know, in their towns, the police don't mess with them. So they say, well, why would they bother you when they never bother me?
Right.
You know,
but they don't.
But
they don't have the same.
Right. They don't have those experiences.
Right.
Like you're saying.
Right. Yep.
So for them to see on TV and then say, geez, why isn't the cop getting off the neck? He's killing the guy. You know, and then to see a guy just be murdered in front of them, because they got involved.
Yep.
A lot of white people said, you know what, this is it.
Yeah.
This is too much.
It is.
You know, if this is what they're dealing with, no, we got to stand. And I thought that was, you know, that was pretty honorable, man.
Right.
For a lot of people to just say, okay, you know, for so long we stood back and we, you know, we said, we just assumed, oh, he was a criminal, so he deserved what he got, you know, or whatever. And then they saw that and they said, whoa, wait a minute, you know.
Yeah, that's not always, just because he's a criminal, don't mean he
deserves to be killed.
Die.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, murdered.
I was talking to a young guy the other day, and he was doing some work on my house, and he's going into the police force, and he was telling me, you know, how things was going and what the process was. He said he had got a call, he was going for an interview.
Yeah.
And they was asking him certain things about this and that, about what was he doing back in high school, because really they did a background check on him.
Oh, yeah.
But then I started asking him other things like, did they ask you things as far as your psyche, as far as are you a racist and things like that?
Right.
And he thought about it. He said they really didn't ask him things like that. So they really don't know.
Right.
Either that or they not asking questions like that. So basically he said, if you're a good bullshitter, you probably can get through that.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can. I mean, because they want you to be squeaky clean as far as have you had any tickets? Have you had any speeding tickets? Have you ever ran with a gang and things like that? They're gonna ask you stuff like that.
Right.
But they never ask you, did you ever say the N-word?
Right.
And he said they never asked him nothing like that.
Wow.
So him and I got to talking. I said, now, how would they weed out people like that? And he said he don't know because he was never asked that question. So I started talking to him about, I think they should, because when you get around people like that are officers of the law, how would you know? But you know, you need to start asking people like that. Then if you get adverse answers, you know, wait a minute, this guy might not be for the force, because he a Nazi or skinhead or think this way about blacks or Jews or stuff like that, and that's a person you don't want on the force, man.
Right, man. Yeah, man. You know, that's so true, man. And I mean, that's an interesting concept. And I'm thinking that you were talking to him, and he was like, "Wow."
Yeah.
You know.
And he was a white guy.
Yeah.
White young guy.
And he was like,
"Yeah."
And what do you think? They just didn't do it because they didn't feel like it was important, or they didn't care, or?
Me personally, I think that's not a criteria.
Yeah.
But it should be.
Wow.
Because if you can interview a person on his background and how good he's been
Right.
as a citizen, that's a part of him.
Right.
You know, are you a racist, sir?
Right.
Have you ever said the N-word?
Right. Right.
Ask a person that.
Yeah.
Because that's a whole part of your ethics.
Right.
You know, because if you out here being a police officer, you got to learn how to deal with people.
Absolutely.
It ain't, you know, the world ain't filled with all white people.
Right.
It ain't filled with all black people.
It's
So
all
you,
different
but once you
races.
come in contact with different races, you need to be able to understand them and be able to talk to them in a way that both of you guys may understand.
Right.
You may not understand some of this slang language that's out here with some of
Right.
these gang members and stuff like that, because who teaches that? They
Right.
might not teach that
Right.
on the force,
Right.
or in basic training for the police officers. I don't know.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think a police officer has to be well versed in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, because they used to have what they call community policing, meaning like if you grew up in that neighborhood,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
you were a policeman there or whatever, and then you were more likely to have a better relationship, especially with the younger people coming up.
Right.
And you might know, I might have went to high school with this kid that's acting up,
Yeah.
but I don't have to shoot him. I can talk to him.
Right.
You know?
Right. And that's just as good as you doing your job that way too. You don't have to necessarily
Right.
lock a person up.
Right.
You know, you can negotiate with them and say, "Hey, man, that might not be what you want,"
Right.
or "Let me talk to you for a minute," or "Let me take you back home. I know your father. Why you doing this?" Blah 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 blah. But to put handcuffs on a person and take them to jail,
Right.
that might not be what that individual needs.
Yeah.
You know, so but that's one thing that you and I don't know. What is the criteria of teaching these police how to deal with the outside?
Right.
You know, they're police now. How dealing with civilians and what people come up with as far as you might see a person that may have be schizophrenia.
Yeah.
But do that constitute killing him?
Exactly.
You know, if you see something going on, he's not acting right, but he may be wielding around a knife.
Yeah.
Okay, that's dangerous. But what average person would do something like that?
Right.
To me, and I'm just saying in my thinking, a person would do something like that if they're on drugs
Right.
or not in their right mind.
Absolutely.
Everybody ain't going around here, with a knife in their hand.
Right.
Something has to be wrong with that
Right,
individual.
right.
To me, that's common sense.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
Now, for some people, that might be, I'm about to kill this guy. He got a knife. But you may want to say, wait a minute. I got a gun. He got a knife.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of not fair.
Right.
So you may want to call for backup to really see what's going on. Or try to find a way to subdue this guy
Right.
without killing him.
Right.
Now, going back to that next question, I asked a young guy again about that. He said, basically, if the guy had a knife and he had a gun, as far as he would beat him up, he would fight him, like use his takedown tactics to beat him.
Right.
He said, because if a police, he said he pretty much think on a one-on-one situation, he can whip a police behind.
Right.
He can whip the police. So that's crazy.
Right.
So, in other words, what are they teaching the police, bro? Are they teaching them hand-to-hand combat?
Right.
They teach them how to fight?
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Because if I can whip the police, if I can beat a police officer, not to say a police officer is Superman,
Right.
but he should be able to know more than me as far as hand-to-hand combat,
Combat and
takedown,
all
and
that.
stuff like
Yes,
that.
yes, yes.
And if that's not the case, I see why they scared of us.
Right.
And that ain't gonna do no the black people, anybody.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they need to be able to but no more. Just like if a boxer can't come out here and start fighting people because his hands is registered, and he would go to jail for that. That would be considered a crime.
Right.
He could. That's murder.
Yeah.
So the police should be somewhat in that same realm.
Yeah.
And I just don't think taking your gun out first time shooting a person is justifiable.
Right. I think that we have to come to a place, because I don't agree with the defunding the police either.
Mm-hmm.
People talking about, well, let's defund them. No, the police have a purpose.
Right.
But it's got to be defined, or, redefined, I think, and to say, like you said, we need to talk about psychology.
Yeah.
We need to talk about, how we react with other races.
Right.
So that we're sensitive
Mm-hmm.
to their upbringing and things that they go through. I mean, you want the police to come in and say, okay, someone's outside trying to break into my house or trying to hurt my family. I want you to come and deal with them.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But if they're running away, I don't want you to shoot them in the back and kill them. I want you to arrest them and put them in jail.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Find them.
Yeah.
And okay, this was the culprit. This was the guy that did what this particular people said that they did.
Right.
He fit the description, clothing and stuff like that. Now, say for instance that don't happen.
Right.
That may be something you got to follow up on the next day. Don't just
Right.
pick any random guy
Exactly.
and say your job is over.
Right. But, you know, now if they come in my house, then I got to take care of them.
Of course.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But,
do what you got to
but
do.
as a policeman, they're here to protect and serve.
Yes.
You know?
Well, like I always say, officer of the law.
Well, yeah. Right.
Protect and serve.
So they're carrying out the law. And I heard a lawyer talking one day, and they were saying, you know, and you brought it up before too, that, you know, the lawyer goes to school for 8 years to learn the law.
Right.
The police go training for 8 months to carry out the law. You know,
okay.
and that's only 8 months.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So if a lawyer has to go that far to understand the law, so, you know, a policeman should have to have at least some training so that they understand, you know, they have a thorough understanding of the law.
Yes.
And like you said, that psychology piece and understanding that, because there's a lot of people out here that have mental illness issues.
And you should be able to, not saying that you should be that sharp, you know, some type of doctor.
Right.
But you should, if you're a police officer,
Yeah.
you should have been taking some type of psychology classes
Some training,
or
yes,
something.
yes.
You know, because a lot of times police need a degree in what is it?
Criminology.
Criminal justice.
Yeah.
And hopefully that's the same as what a lawyer go through.
Right.
But like you said, I think police officers need to be just as long as a lawyer, because you need to know the law.
Yeah, you do.
Instead
You
of
really
just
do.
to try to uphold it, right?
Right, man.
You know,
You're
a
right.
lot of times it's rough, man. It's rough.
Because there's too many cases where people have been killed, and they're saying, you know, well, it's not as many as you think. No, we see it every day.
It
you know?
is.
And there's a big one every month, you know. This
Yeah.
one was killed, this one was shot in the back. And sometimes, you know, there's a sense of say, you know, maybe he went a little too far. That's different than killing somebody.
Right, right.
So for policemen, and this is, you know, just for instance, say for instance they ran up on a couple of guys. They were black guys. They were messing around. They were doing something wrong. They didn't have any weapons. They got smart or tried to grab the policeman's billy club, and they got their behinds whooped.
Right.
You understand that.
Yep.
You know?
I wouldn't have no problem
I
with
understand that. Don't kill them.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you whoop their behind because they were wrong,
Right.
then, and you know, and in that moment, and maybe you've gone a little further than you should have gone.
Right.
That's one thing. But when you just take their lives.
Yeah. Because at least if you whooped it behind, you can after it's over with, you can still take them, process them, and book them, and then have a fair trial.
Yeah.
Why did you do this?
Yeah.
Why did you do that? Why were you here at a certain time?
Right.
Why did you attack the police?
Right.
You know, but
Right.
if you're dead,
Right.
you can't speak.
Right.
So that's just like saying the police saying, "Oh, I fear for my life."
Right.
Did he?
Right. It's like it's proportionate. So you
Right.
spit in a cop's face, and the cop punch you in the face. I understand.
Justified.
I ain't got nothing to say about
Justified.
it. You shouldn't have done that.
Yep.
But if you spit in the cop's face and they shoot you in the head, that's
too far.
Yeah.
That's too
You
far.
know?
And that's
it's got to
what
be proportionate.
right. And that's what the police should be able to see or understand.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy. To me, spitting in a person's
Yeah,
face
that's
is the
bad.
nastiest
That's
thing
bad. Yeah,
you
that's
ever
one
could
of the
do.
worst things you can do.
And maybe you might feel like killing somebody,
Right.
but you have to subdue this individual
Right.
and calm yourself down.
Right.
You know, because of
Right.
course it's everybody's adrenaline pumping and stuff like
Right.
that. But once again, that's when your training should come
Right.
in and say, you know,
Right.
hold on, okay, I'm
in
pissed.
charge of this situation.
Right. Look, you going down. How you gonna handle it for spitting in my face or whatever?
Right.
But that don't justify you pulling your gun shooting this individual.
Right.
Anybody.
And if I don't listen to you on the first time, you don't have the right to shoot me.
Right. Right.
know?
And if you take off running,
Right.
call somebody for backup.
Right.
We're gonna chase this guy down. If he's running,
Right.
he ain't no threat to you, is
That's
he? You got to catch him.
Right.
That's the guy. That's your assailant.
Right.
You have to catch him.
Right.
Do your
Right.
job.
Right.
A lot of times police don't even do their job, man. A lot of times police rely on other people to do their job,
Yes.
such as informants.
Mhm.
You know, oh, I'll give you $50. What happened with Jerome over here?
Right. Right.
Come on, man. Do your
Right.
job.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
don't just rely. I mean, it's good to rely on community or have somebody on the side telling you what's going on, but you need to go find out the facts too.
That's right.
You know, you can't say, "Oh, Officer so and so, was you there?" No, but I talked to wasn't the guy around the corner. He said he did it.
Right.
Come on, that's
Right.
already
Right.
a second party.
Right.
He say, she say.
Right. Right.
So you gonna take that to court?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, man.
So it's all about that. It's all about the justice system too.
Yes.
I always thought if you had some evidence on somebody, that's just as good. Look here, I
Right.
got a tape recorder. I saw so and so kick him in the face.
Right.
That's him, and he did it.
There you go.
Everybody look at it. Yeah, that's him. Lock him up or whatever.
Right.
Not this. Oh, it kind of grainy. That might not be him. Come on, man.
Right.
So in other words, why do I have an alarm system in my store
Right.
if I can't use it
Right.
to protect myself?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, man. You know, it's,
Am I saying anything wrong?
no, you're on point. You're on point, 100%, man. You know, and it just, you know, just tying it back to, you know, the whole George Floyd thing. I just think that they didn't control the situation. They were the ones responsible, you know, the police at that point. And there was like 5 of them, right?
Yep.
And there was one guy, and there were other witnesses, but the witnesses didn't attack them or anything.
Nope.
So you mean to tell me 5 officers couldn't figure out that they didn't have to murder this guy? That they didn't have to sit and watch their peer do that? You know?
And that's what I'm saying. That's what, and once again, that's what I'm saying. You got all these people, and not only that, when something like that is going on, you got all this publicity that's forming.
Yes.
You wanna erase that or
Yeah.
stop that. So you wanna say, hey man, look here. We got nowadays this is the day and year of the camera,
Yeah.
of the phone, and people recording.
Everybody got
So
it.
now you gotta figure out, oh well, man, we better relax. Even if you do think something, if you're wrong,
Right.
let's stop and see what's going on because this might not come out right if something that's filmed get out here in the media, and it did. Even with that, you telling me the prosecutor or the defendant can't take a shot from a camera from a phone that somebody used
Right.
and bring that into a courtroom and say, look,
Got him right here.
yeah, you can't use that. If that can't be, come on, tell me, Rich.
Hey, man.
If that's not,
I
you
mean-
can't use that as evidence because a lot of times you know
Yeah.
how it is.
Yeah.
Oh well, this and that. Come on,
Yeah, I know.
that's protection for us.
Mm-hmm.
You get me?
Yeah,
I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
I know.
I don't get that.
I'm really.
Is that a state-to-state thing? You know, camera phones and stuff off a camera can't be admissible, can't be admitted.
They want to verify that it wasn't doctored and all that, you know. Someone, but I mean,
You can
they
see,
know,
you can
they
see
know.
that. You can tell them like doctor nothing. Half the people don't know how to doctor nothing on a phone. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they know how to press record.
That's right. Yeah.
So
It's going to be interesting, man.
Yeah.
You know, the National Guard, they're going to have the National Guard out there because if for some reason they let this guy off, it's going to be.
it's gonna be pandemonium, man.
Again.
They're gonna tear that Indianapolis up again.
Yeah.
Because right is right, is wrong. Again, I
Yep.
say that. You know, and you can't see if a fool can't see the wrongness in that.
Right.
If that man get off,
Yeah.
it ain't no justice nowhere, man. We
Yeah.
can't do nothing.
Yeah.
You know, they need to. The justice system ain't worth a damn.
Yeah.
If that man get off,
Yeah.
you know, he got to at least go to jail.
Yeah.
And I ain't saying the rest of his life, but y'all got to put him in jail enough to somebody satisfied. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm good now. Give him
Right.
10 years.
Yeah, right,
He was
right,
wrong.
right.
And he didn't see it.
Yeah.
Police are not, man.
Yeah.
That's just where I feel.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to get off.
I hope not either, because they know, man.
Yeah.
Come on. He even the most vicious, you know, person that's a hatred person can
Yeah.
look at that and say, hey, yeah, that might have been kind of wrong.
Yeah, that was a little
You
much.
know, yeah.
You know, and that, I mean,
Prejudice. He's the most biggest prejudice person can look at that and be like, wow, that's kind of
Yeah.
messed up. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, because folks, it was like, what are they doing to
Yeah.
this guy?
Yeah. And it sparked a whole big controversy around the world.
Yeah.
And remember that time, it wasn't just him, it was 2 or 3,
Yes.
10, 15 people
Yeah.
getting done the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going on with the Aubrey case? You know?
Yeah,
Is that next or
I believe.
Aubrey, the guy who was in Georgia?
Yeah, Ahmaud, right?
Yeah, Ahmaud.
they were talking about it, but I haven't really been up on it, man.
Yeah.
I've really just been trying to, because after a while you see so many of these things, you're like, man, you become like desensitized to it.
Right, you become numb.
It's normal. No, it's not normal.
No, it's not normal,
It's
bro.
messed up.
Not normal.
And we got to change it,
Yeah.
And hopefully this jury decision will, this case will send a message.
Yep.
That's what they have to do. They got to send a message
Yes,
to police.
Right, to the police force, exactly, all over the world. And anybody.
Yeah.
Let them know that, hey, you're not above the law as far as being a police. You're going to have to pay for the crime that you've done too.
Right. And send a message to black males that our lives do matter.
Yes, yes.
That our lives do matter.
Right, right. And young brothers out there, don't you forget, like he just said, your lives do matter.
Yes.
So as far as a lot of people in a lot of different cities and stuff like that, make sure you guys are doing the right thing. And if you come across the police and they're in a certain type of mood or something like that, just make sure you got, your I's dotted and your T's crossed and do what you're supposed to do. And me personally, just giving you some advice, if something goes wrong out there on the street, that's not a way to fight that. You can go to court and fight that. You don't have to try to do it right there, because you may be in for a wrong fight that you don't want.
Yeah.
And everybody want to live and go home and see their loved ones.
Right.
So you may want to just backtrack on what you're doing. And if that police officer is wrong, get his badge, get his name, and you fight that down in city court.
Right.
Yeah. You got anything else to say, Wayne?
No, man. It's a great topic.
Yeah, yep. And we always bring some good topics out here.
Yes.
And once again, we're going to wrap it up. And everybody out here in podcast land, we'll see y'all next time. Peace out.